AJ McQueen, thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
So I know you do consider yourself a Houstonian now, don't you?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Houston saved my so Houston's always going to be a home to me, so for
I
sure.
love that. Now let's just take it back a couple years ago. You grew up in St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about what life was like for you as a kid in St.
Yeah.
Louis.
I grew up in a very dysfunctional household, and what I mean by that is, my mom and dad separated when I was 3. So, I grew up with my baby sister's dad, and he was somewhat of a wayward father figure. Ever since I can remember, always like being very, very strong, but what they led to a lot of abuse, in the household, verbal, physical abuse. And so, when you're not getting enough love in the household, you look elsewhere, right? So right outside my front door, growing up in West Side St. Louis, you got poverty, you got drugs, you got gangs, pick your poison, and so it's right outside my front door. But growing up in the inner city, just trying to find my path while having a father figure who's expressing their love in the most difficult way possible. So that was my upbringing right there.
And really what you saw on a daily basis, I mean, at 13 years old, you actually were part of a gang. Am I right on the age?
Yeah. My 13th birthday, I became active in a gang, so the ritual where I'm from is you get jumped in. So, on my 13th birthday, it was no cake, wasn't no presents. I got jumped in front of in the front yard of my house. So,
and I mean, that was it. That was life for you.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in St. Louis, is the gang culture is different than a lot of places. It's really based off of your address. So it's not like you just go around claiming, making up stuff.
Right.
So off of my address and where I lived at, that is what gang I was. I couldn't pick anything else, unless I moved somewhere else. I couldn't pick nothing else. So, that's what made me a part of that gang in that neighborhood.
And you had, you didn't have, I guess you had kind of the gang experience while
Right.
in the gang.
Right.
Violence, you were shot, is that right?
Yeah. So when I was 15, and the story is actually deeper than when you read it, it sounds like, okay, he was shot and he changed his life. But really, the summer before I got shot, I was in Houston, and my mom, because that school year before the summer, I had got into some real bad trouble. And I'm talking about to the point to where they were threatening to shoot up my house with my mom, and they were calling my house phone, and we didn't have cell phones, when I was 15. So they was calling the house phone and hanging up the phone, and it was just it was like something you see on a movie, right?
Right.
And I knew, because I'm the only boy, I knew that something bad was going to happen. I just felt it. Look, at 15, I was walking around with a knot in my stomach. And I told my mom that I need to get away. So she was like, okay, where you want to go? And I said, Houston. And the reason I said Houston, because when we were 8 years old, when I was 8, we came here for the first time. And when I got older, I found out that my mom, she was on a run from my baby sister's dad, who was abusing us. So she ran to Houston, and that's the only place I've been to. I met a friend, and when we went back to St. Louis when I was 10, that's the only friend I had. So when I was thinking of a place to go when I was in trouble, we called the family here in Houston, and they were like, yeah, he can come and visit. Not knowing that it was deeper, me wanting to get out the city was deeper than visiting. So when I got here to Houston, the family that I knew, I didn't look like the little boy that they knew. You know what I'm saying? I'm and I'm gang banging. I'm wearing flags, red flag on my head, and they like, And then so we got in the car. They was like, yeah, you need to pull your pants up. You need to stop listening to that music. I was listening to Tupac and everything at 15 years old, and I was here for a week. I didn't like it. I called my mom. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. They trying to get me to go to church and read the Bible and all this other type of crazy stuff. And so she sent me a ticket the day I was leaving. the lady of the house came to me and she was crying. She said, "Don't go. God showed me a vision." I was like, "God who?" You know what I'm saying? God showed me a vision that you were beating on my door, and when I opened the door, you had bullet holes in your back. I said, "I don't believe in none." Now I don't really tell a story like this because, one, I don't get a chance to really tell it in detail. You know, people read it and they just heard that you got shot, but really God had his hand. It was a craziest story. She told me I was gonna get shot. I didn't believe her. When I got home to St. Louis, 12 o'clock at night, I'm outside and a green car flew down the street. They pointed their guns out the window. I was standing in front of the car. I thought they was going to do a drive-by, but they didn't. And so my light flashed before my eyes, did the whole thing, but they didn't shoot. So me and the people I was with, which are my friends and family, we were trying to, look for guns ourselves to protect ourselves. They didn't come back, so we like, cool. We were standing outside in front of the house, in front of the house, and a car pulled up. I wasn't paying attention to it. The dudes got out the car, and he walked up on me out of my peripheral, and it's like I saw him, but I didn't see him fast enough. And so he shot me close range. And so I got shot twice, inch away from being paralyzed. And it took the ambulance like 45 minutes to get to me. And and then it was a shootout. So when I got shot, and then the car came back down the street to shoot again. And this was my childhood. And I'm the only person that got shot out of 7 people.
Unbelievable. Was that the moment that you were able to say, I don't want this life anymore? Or
it wasn't that easy. When I got in the hospital, the first thing that my cousin did, because my cousin was the first one to the hospital, she called I told her to call Miss Johnson. That's the lady's name in Houston. I said, call Miss Johnson. She called Miss Johnson and said, Miss Johnson, AJ got shot. And she started crying and crying to God. And then my family started showing, because it was gang related, they had the hospital on lockdown. Yeah. So only my family could get in. And to see that look in my mom's eyes. Now, it was a battle because I got family telling me, hey, you earned your stripes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you ain't nobody gonna mess with you now. You got bullet holes and you can rap now. You know what I'm saying? Like, just telling me some stuff, but then I'm getting pulled spiritually and emotionally a whole different way. And so it's a battle. So when I got out the hospital, there's no therapy. You know what I'm saying? There's no therapy. Nobody came talk to me outside of my family. Nobody, no counseling. I got dropped off in the same spot I got shot in, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. So the PTSD, the trauma, 15, cool. I'm sitting in a car with my cousin, and there was somebody in front of us. They went in their pocket. I panicked. They pulled out a piece of gum, but I had just got shot. So in my mind, any movements of any sort was violence. And so it was a battle in my heart. But what made me really just know that it was something more was when I was offered something more. See, that's the difference. We got these kids out here in the streets and we telling them what to do, but we don't give them a better option, right? Miss Johnson told me that I can come back to Houston. And, I didn't want to, because again, my family saying, oh, I got family that are gang members as well. They like, hey man, we finna go do this and that. I heard that unfortunately the person who shot me didn't make it. I heard a lot of stuff, and they like, man, you good now, you an OG. No, so when Miss Johnson told me I can come back, after I went through my rehab, I got on the airplane, came back to Houston with crutches, and I was offered the opportunity to stay here and start a fresh life. Even though I disrespected her, even though that, it didn't go well the first time, it was right. Love. It was love that drew me, you know what I'm saying? And showed me that there's people that love me and there's a better option. So that's really it wasn't just a wake up call. It was right. That I intended something deeper and something better than what I had.
She saw an opportunity to help a young kid. I mean, at 15, let's face it, you're still a child. Yeah. You were still a child, going through some really adult things and really living life like you had no options. We could sit here for hours and talk about your life, but I'm going to fast forward just a little bit, because at the age of 23, you were recognized by President Barack Obama, received the White House Service Achievement Award for your service to your community and also positive music. You've also received a certificate of congressional recognition from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. And you have your own day, AJ McQueen Day, here in H-Town, baby. Yeah. I mean, not many people can say I was in a gang. I met Barack Obama. I got a name after me. I mean, you have like, what an inspiration. I hope that you are able to speak to people's hearts and minds, because I think, AJ, if you could talk to your 13-year-old self today, what would you tell that 13-year-old boy?
Man, that's a great question. I think I would tell myself to persevere. You know, perseverance is a word that played part in changing my life. I remember when I first heard the word, I didn't know what it meant, you know what I'm saying? And I went to go look it up, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the man of the house Miss Johnson, there was a Miss Johnson, there was a Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson, this is what changed my life really on the deeper level with my music. Because after I got shot, I started rapping. And I didn't have a microphone, no studio equipment. I had a tape recorder. I would hold the tape recorder to a computer and play a beat off the computer and rap. So I let Mr. John, and I was rapping about me getting shot. I was rapping about how I felt like God protected me. And I didn't even know about God yet. I just knew that people kept saying his name. And I'm like, okay, I think that was him. Because the way that they shot up the street, I should have died. And I rapped about it. I played it for him. He was like, you got potential. And I say, potential? What's that? You know what I'm saying? What that mean? I go dictionary, which is one of my favorite things to do now, reading dictionary. And I was like, man, I got that. So my younger self, I would tell my 13-year-old self to persevere and to cultivate your potential. Those two things. And I think that would mean a lot to me, especially once I looked up what it meant. That would have changed my life at 13. Because I didn't know I had potential. Nobody told me I had nothing more than what was in front of me.
Right. And I think a lot of times your life, you probably didn't see any potential. You saw a dead end road and doing what you had to do to survive.
Exactly. Survival.
Yeah.
And which speaks to a lot of youth now. They don't know what thriving looks like. And it's like, it's not that they don't want to. It's just that you're telling me what to do without giving me a better option. Mm-hmm. I have to survive to the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some stuff that I didn't even realize till I got to 25. My dad just passed away 3 years ago. It was stuff I didn't even realize until he passed away. So surviving is what a lot of kids, adults, young adults, what we're doing. We don't know what thriving is until we're given an opportunity to.
Well, music has certainly played a healing role in your life, and more accolades to talk about for you is the one award that you're really proud of, which is Houston's Top 30 Under 30 Entrepreneur Award for your Writer's Block, Inc. It's a nonprofit performing arts and literacy company established back in 2013. So this is basically you reaching out into the community.
Yeah, that's me. That's me going back, knowing, again, what somebody told me is reaching right back. You know, a lot of people think you got to wait till you become a millionaire, wait till you're famous to reach back. You can reach back now where you are. And so one day I was writing and I had writer's block, and I was reading this book about the power of words. And I was like, okay, I don't have writer's block. I own writer's block. So I can choose to have it or not, because we be speaking stuff on ourselves. I don't have writer's block. It's mine. I don't want to know more than my writer's block. So next thing you know, I created the organization because I wanted other people to channel their potential. Our motto is that the pen is stronger than the gun. So that's saying that the gift that you have inside of you is the strongest weapon that you have. It's stronger than violence. It's stronger than guns. It's stronger than anything. If you tap into your potential, you change your world and those around you. So started that, and we've been using performing arts and literacy to reach out to our community. So.
It's really great. It's speaking positivity, which I think is so important now. There's so much negative surrounding us. It's hard not to get sucked into that. I also see that you're hydrating a lot over there. What do you got?
So I'm drinking Hydrate Hill, a premium alkaline water. This is actually my water company, Hydrate Hill, that I started February 29th of this year. And man, it's not only is it good water, you know what I'm saying, but no, it's something I started. I started rapping about water probably like 2 years ago. I was just, again, because I didn't want to rap about us killing each other and us drinking poison. So I was just like, you know what? Let me try to be different. And I started rapping about it. And then I got offered an endorsement deal from a water company, but it just didn't make sense. And then I prayed about it. And God was like, look, you can do this yourself, right? And so next thing you know, I did the research, took the time, made the investment, and now I have my own water company, Hydrate. So,
where can we get it here in town?
yeah, so you can order it online, hydratehillwater.com, and it's also available at Houston Sauce Co. They have a shop it, which is like a market. It's available at French Fry House and Vegside Market, which is a vegan convenience store. So,
sweet, very nice. Congratulations, that's great. And before we leave, AJ, let's just get your take on checking in on the pulse right now. Of we're coming off of course, George Floyd, the riots, his death, his beautiful memorial service and celebration of life that happened here in Houston. How are you feeling today after all of it?
Honestly, it's there's two parts. You on one side, you're numb to it because you see it daily. It's like the same movie all the time. Fast and Furious 100. You know what I'm saying? They just keep making another one after and out. But then on the other side, there's definitely it's anger. It's anger, it's frustration, and for somebody like me who's always been intentional with using my voice and things like that, it's difficult because it's like, what do you do? Like, in the midst of a George Floyd uproar, we have another one and another one and another one. So it's like, what do you do, right? So for somebody like me, and even those around me, it's heavy hearted, to say the least. But I think this one is different though. I kid you not, from somebody who's boots on the ground, grassroots organizing, this one is different. I think once the George Floyd situation happened, we woke up a lot of people that were asleep. And so, the community responds in different ways. For me, it's more so systematic. If we looking at injustice and racism as systematic things, and we have to respond systematically, and so, not heavy-hearted, but we're also moving forward though. At the same time, it's people that are alive now that were asleep, and we're organizing and we're moving forward. And a lot of people that are out there doing other things, they don't represent, I read something today that said, if you're looking at those who are protesting and in the wrong way, and you're letting that reflect the whole body of people, then why are you not looking at the cops that are doing things the wrong way and letting that reflect the whole body? Because it's systematic. You got to get rid of it, and so that's where we at, heavy hearted, but we move forward.
Well, listen, we appreciate your positivity, you shedding a light on what you've learned in your life and how you have gone basically the spectrum from a gang member to being shot to being a positive Houstonian. We're going to claim you now, AJ. Yeah. You're a Houstonian.
I love Houston. I love Houston.
Well, listen, we can't wait to have you in studio one day. Maybe you can rap and perform for us.
I got you.
Yeah, as soon as we can get you in the building, we would love that.
Yeah, free water on me too. I got it. Free water for everybody.
I'm thirsty. I'm ready. Let's go. So sweet. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.